Good morning and welcome to episode 2 of Coffee with the Kingz. I am one of your hosts, Joseph McRae, and you guys know my husband, McRae, also known as His Majesty. Welcome to Coffee with the Kingz this morning, everybody. How you doing this morning? Hope you rested well and had a good night's rest, but we're going to get into it. Yesterday we did a recap of the McRaeKingz 2022. Today we're going to do a recap of Celebrity 2022.
Oh boy. Oh my gosh. And I guess I'm going to have to start that off. What about the Chris Rock in the room? That's what we have to talk about first. We have to talk about the Chris Rock in the room because that was the first really big celebrity thing that came up this this year, for the year 2022, was the slap.
Heard around the world.
With Will Smith and Chris Rock. What it appears as though Chris Rock made a joke about Jada Pinkett being G.I. Jane, and Will Smith just did not appreciate it. He just did not appreciate it. He decided to get up on the stage and slap the all and be hell out of Chris Rock.
Right.
And when he did this, it was like, wow. And people were looking like, was this something scripted? Because this just seemed so beneath Will Smith. Then reality set in when Will Smith was like, keep my effing wife's name out of your mouth. And Chris Rock said, excuse me. He said, you heard what I said. Keep my effing wife's name out of your mouth. And then everybody knew it was serious. And it was just that dark moment. Excuse me. It was that dark moment when everything it felt like everything was silent around the world.
Right.
And of course the backlash of Will Smith, slapping Chris Rock, took a terrible turn. Will Smith has, as a result of his actions, has been suspended from the Academy for the next, 5 years, is it?
I think 10.
No, 10 years. Yeah, 10 years. He's been suspended from the Academy for the next 10 years, which means he will not be able to attend any events in relation to the Oscars or anything affiliated with the Oscars brand for the next 10 years. Even if he receives an award, he still will not be able to be in attendance to receive his award.
Well, they're trying to blacklist him now, so him even getting nominated is going to be hard.
Yeah, him getting nominated is really going to be hard. It appears as though there's like a blacklist on Will Smith because I believe this last movie that he did, what is it called, Joseph? Emancipation, which looks to be a very good movie, did terrible at the box office. It's done terrible at the box office, people are saying that they don't understand why.
But see, I can't go with that box office thing because when you release a movie on Apple TV, most people are not going to go to the movie theaters these days. They're going to stay home and watch it on Apple TV as opposed
that's
to
what I was
going
going to say,
the
Joseph.
theater.
The box office also includes the
Apple TV?
The Apple TV as well. So it's even if you watch it on Apple TV, it's still that still counts as a box office ticket. So you can't say that. It's very difficult to say that. My wish, my heart goes out to Will Smith because I think that hands down, there's one thing. Listen, you can not like a person, but you can never deny their talent. I learned that. T.S. Madison said that today. She said you can not like a person, but you can never deny their talent. Will Smith is a phenomenal actor. You cannot take that away from him. That's something that you will never be able to take away from him. So as much as you may say that you're not going to contribute or watch his movies, you can't deny that he's a phenomenal actor. So my heart goes out to him. My heart goes out to him. In terms of, do you think this is going to hurt him financially? I doubt it. I doubt this is going to hurt him financially. Will Smith has more than enough millions to last him for the rest of his days. So financially, this is not hurting him. Ego-wise, it probably is. Career-wise, it probably is. So my heart does go out to him.
So let me ask you a question.
What's that?
Because this was real prevalent in 2022, cancel culture. What do you think about it?
I'm not a fan of cancel culture. Like, I'm not a fan of, cancel R. Kelly or cancel Will Smith or cancel this one or cancel this one because of what they have done in their personal lives. I'm just not a fan of it. Because it goes back to what I said. You can deny a person's whatever, but you can't deny their talent. You can't deny their talent.
You can't take away the contributions they've already made.
Right. That's like, people always talk about R. Kelly, mute R. Kelly. There's no way in the world that you can mute R. Kelly. And you can take away all of the music contributions that he has made to the legacy of R&B.
But that will also have to take away from
R&B,
other artists.
There's no R&B without R. Kelly. There's no R&B without R. Kelly. So now, as a person, personally, on a personal level, do I agree with him? In the things that he indulged in? Absolutely not. Because I am an uncle that has 16-year-old nieces. I would never, ever, 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 ever condone the things that he, as a grown man, inflicted on these young girls. But as an artist,
you can't deny who he is in the music business.
Yeah, hands down. So, cancel culture is something. It's a hard pill for me to swallow.
Now, with that being said, what do you think about the cancel culture on Kanye because of the things he said and he did in 2022? And then Adidas and most of the brands that carried his Yeezy line got rid of him because of what he said, the things that he said that were just anti-Semitic and just wrong, just completely wrong.
On a personal level, I think Kanye is just a person that is dealing with some mental issues and that need to be helped on a personal level. From a business standpoint, some of the things that he has said, I get, but did they need to be said? No, I don't. I get where he was trying to go with a lot of things, like when he was talking about how Jewish people, run the world and things like that. I get where he was trying to go with that. Do I think that that's something that needed to be said? My grandmother used to always say this: if you don't have anything nice to say, you shouldn't say anything at all.
Well, see, my thing,
and I think with Kanye, a lot of things that he says are not nice. A lot of things that he says are not appropriate. And some of the actions that he takes are not appropriate. Like that White Lives Matter mess that he did. That was just way, way over the top for me.
Well, see,
do I think it's cancel culture? Well, for me, I'm not a big Kanye. I've just never been a Kanye fan. I've just never listened to his music. So for me, it's no big deal,
For me with Kanye, it was just weird. Well, it wasn't weird because I know that's how it works. But for me with Kanye, it was when he was talking about black people and slaves didn't really exist, nobody had nothing to say. When he started talking about other races, now it's cancel Kanye, cancel Kanye.
Mm-hmm.
That's when I had a problem with the cancel culture on Kanye, because it's like, oh, as long as he talk about black people, it's okay. But once he starts talking about other people, it's cancel Kanye. He loses all his endorsements and things like that. When in actuality, it was no different what he said about black people than what he said about Jewish people.
Mm-hmm.
It really was no difference. Just like they're attacking Whoopi Goldberg now because of what she's saying on The View about the Holocaust. And it's like, as long as, a black person sits there and talk about black people, it's okay. But the minute we talk about something else that they don't like, they want to cancel us. I think cancel culture has gotten out of control. I think people want to cancel people for like the dumbest things. I think 2022 has shown us how petty and how sensitive people really are. And half the time, I don't even think these people are even really upset with it. I think they just want to have a reason to complain. But that's just me. That's just me. Everybody's different. Everybody has a difference of opinion, and that's fine. But I just think cancel culture is it's doing too much right now.
Yeah, it is. It is. It really is. Well, I mean, to me, it's doing too much all the time, and it just goes back to what I say: to each his own. To each his own. Let's get into something else that happened this year. Well, we exclusively lost a lot of people this year, Joseph.
We did. We lost a lot of celebrities this year.
Yes.
It's so many, I can't even. The last one we lost, I want to say, leaving, going into 2023, which kind of touched me a little bit, was Anita Pointer. Because the only song I remember them actually letting her do the lead was Automatic.
Right.
And I loved her. I really loved her. I loved her voice because it was so deep. It gave you very T-bars. And Candy, I like women that are altos with
she did
deep,
that.
low voices.
Automatic. Yeah.
Right.
And she was the funnier one in the group, to be honest. And listen, if you go over to Ashley Says So, if you go over to her channel, she did a Hollywood Scandals review on the Pointer Sisters, and you'll learn a lot about the Pointer Sisters through the review that she did on the Pointer Sisters.
Did June die this year or last year?
June,
I think June died this year, 2022 as well.
I believe so.
I believe two of them died in 2022.
Yes, but they are legendary group. If you don't know who the Pointer Sisters are, I don't know what planet you've been on. But if you really want to see them in their prime, watch Car Wash, the movie Car Wash, where they played
the old 70s version.
Yeah, the 70s. It's an old 70s movie.
Because you remember they remade it with Snoop and all of that.
Right. No, that was The Wash. I'm talking about Car Wash. Car Wash, the movie with Antonio Vargas. Richard Pryor actually starred in it, and he actually was the pastor in the movie, and they played his backup singers. And if you want to hear somebody sing, the Pointer Sisters sang. And they're also known for another song, very popular song called "Yes We Can." Yes We Can. That's one of the songs.
And Jump.
Yeah, and Jump. And those are just some of the songs that they're known for. So we lost Anita Pointer this year. We also lost Barbara Walters.
Yes. Betty White.
We also lost Betty White this year.
The longest living member of the Golden Girls.
Yes, the longest member and the only member of the Golden Girls that was still standing. We lost. That was quite a tragedy. What else happened this year, Joseph?
We lost a lot of
we need
people.
to recap
That war in Ukraine started, which was a mess.
It made no sense. Actually, made no sense, and still makes no sense because the war is still going ongoing.
We need to mind our business, but
Yes.
that's a whole nother story.
Yeah, that's a whole nother story. Yeah, we need to leave that alone.
A lot of Cardi B sued Tasha K.
Oh yes, the
That was one
Tasha
of the
K
biggest
versus
things.
Cardi B. Now,
Because it put
so
all
many
YouTube
people-
content creators on alert. Like, what? She won? But I get it. I mean, I don't see how people think Cardi wasn't going to win.
But you know, a lot of people were mad because Cardi B won.
Right.
They were mad because they're like, why? You know, how dare she come after such a small content creator? Well, you know, small content creators are made big content creators when they start spewing celebrity news. And you can't, you know, this I hope was a learning experience for all of us as content creators to understand that you just can't just say whatever you want to say about people
Or
and
lie.
that you're going to get away with it. You just can't tell lies. If your content is going to be your content, let it be
The truth.
exclusive content and let it be the honest to goodness truth. You know, Tasha K got on the stand and admitted that she lied about a lot of the things that she said about Cardi B just so she can get people to come to her channel.
Clicks and views.
And as a result of that, that's the reason why she was sitting in court. Cardi B was trying to be fair to her. And then y'all, a lot of y'all have to remember this. Cardi B was very fair to her. She sent her a cease and desist and asked her to stop saying these lies. Stop telling these lies about me. You can say whatever you can report whatever content you want to report about me. Just stop telling these lies. And Tasha K said, you know what? I'm taking this cease and desist and I'm gonna wipe my ass with it. And she continually just ignored her. And you know, Cardi B had no other choice but to take further action. And she took further action and she won.
And I think Tasha K gagged because she didn't think Cardi B was going to follow through with it.
Yeah, she really didn't.
I think she thought it was just a threat and she just wanted me to leave her alone and yada, yada, yada. And then when Cardi B started following through, which I don't blame her, because the things that were being said were just things that were, even if they were true, it still shouldn't have been said.
Right.
It was going against HIPAA laws. It was going against a bunch of stuff if it was true and it wasn't true. You had her embarrass herself by having to go to doctors and release doctor records to prove that what you were saying was lies. And I think she didn't think Cardi B was going to go through with that and follow completely through with it, but she did. And in a way, I'm glad she did because it teaches people you can't just say whatever you want about a person and think that there's no repercussion behind it. A lot of these content creators will say things, they'll do clickbait just to get you to watch, and then you're watching. Then they'll want you to send them cash apps so they can give you the whole tea. And then when you do it, they don't have nothing, they ain't telling you nothing. There ain't nothing to really tell.
Right.
So I think it's a lesson to all content creators that do that it's a brand new day. And people are starting to sue, and people are starting, because, you know, at one point it was just content creator suing content creator. But Cardi B changed the whole game when she did what she did. Because it's really never been a celebrity suing a content creator based off what they said.
Right.
Cardi B was like the first one. So it just lets them know that, you know, we could sit around and sue each other, but some of these stars are going to come for us too and sock it to us. And 9 times out of 10, you ain't got the money that the stars got to get the kind of lawyers that they got that are going to make sure and guarantee that they win the case, especially if you're lying on them. I mean, I don't understand how she even thought she was going to win, knowing that she lied and a lot of stuff she said was lies. I mean, the only way you could kind of win that is to give up your sources.
Well, I'm pretty sure she got the gist of it now. Because Cardi B is not playing. Cardi B done put a lien against her house. Cardi B has put a lien against her property, her both personal and business property. Cardi B has garnished her YouTube channel, meaning that any monies that come from her YouTube channel, Cardi B wants that money to come to her until this $3.4 million lawsuit is settled. Of course, Tasha K is still fighting it in court, and I guess we'll just have to wait and see what happens with that. Now, the last thing I really wanted to touch on, Joseph, before we go, is this story that has been in the blogs and in the YouTube streets for the past couple of weeks, and that is the Shanquella Robinson case. For those of you that don't know, Shanquella Robinson, a entrepreneur, successful, very, very successful entrepreneur there.
Beautiful girl.
And beautiful woman, who I think her entrepreneurship was based on braiding children's hair. Invited 6 of her good friends
who she thought was her friend.
Oh yeah, who she thought was her friends, to Cabo, Mexico, for an exclusive, vacation weekend
for her birthday.
And she invited them to Cabo, Mexico, where she was under the assumption they were going to have a great time. She hired a celebrity. She did things like
paid for everything.
She paid for the villa. She hired a celebrity chef to cook for them, only to get beaten to death by one of the Cabo 6, while the others either stood by or videotaped the actual event that happened to her, the actual beating that happened to her. And then, to add insult to injury, she was left in the villa, dead, and the Cabo 6 that returned home told her mother, exclusively came to her mom's house and told her mother that she died of alcohol poisoning, only for her mom to find out later that there was a fight, there was a beating that took place, and her daughter was the one that was the victim of the beating. So now, who knows what to think? The autopsy report did not read and never read that Shanquella was
alcohol poisoning.
That it was alcohol poisoning that killed her. It actually read that she was killed by a spinal injury. Both her neck and her spine were broken. Nobody has been brought to justice on this case as of yet. Of course, we've heard some things in the blogs and in the YouTube streets saying that one person, being the person that actually, performed the beating, was arrested. Well, her name was Dejanay's something. I can't remember what her last name is, but she was arrested, and she was being held. But we found that to not be true, and no others from the Cabo 6 have been arrested as of yet. I'm hoping and I'm praying that, justice comes to pass on this, and soon, Joseph, and very, very soon.
I do as well, because I would love to know just what happened. I mean, we can go by what we saw in videos and things like that. And that's the other thing I didn't understand. If you took a video and you know that a person died behind the video, why would you put it on the internet? Like, that was one of the things that didn't make sense to me. Like, why would you put it on the internet if
How
you
did
know
this video leak?
you killed this girl, or even if you was there watching and you know she died and you videotaped it, why would you leak this video?
Is my thing. How did the video leak?
Right.
I'm trying to understand.
It had to be one of them that videotaped it.
Right.
Or maybe their conscience got to them of what they did, and they was like, well, you know what? I'm just going to put this on the internet so that, people will see what happened. And because sometimes people be down for stuff, and after they do it, their conscience will get to them.
Mm-hmm.
And they be like, I don't know why I did this, child. I don't know why I
Well, better
agreed
yet,
with this.
why videotape it, Joseph?
At
Why
all.
not pick up the phone and call the police? Why
No,
not
because that's what
stop the
I'm.
video?
No, but that's what I'm saying. A lot of times, people will be down for. They knew what was going to happen. They knew what that girl was going to do. They knew they were going to. That she was going to fight her.
Right.
What I'm saying is, a lot of times people be down. They be like, "Oh yeah, I can't wait to see you beat her ass," and da 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 da. And then when he takes a wrong turn, it's like, "Oh damn," you know what I'm saying? Because you just think, "Oh, they're gonna fight," and yada yada yada. And then it takes a wrong turn, but now your conscience is getting to you like, if you're not a killer or a murderer or somebody that is okay with that, your conscience is going to get to you. And I think the person that leaked the video, their conscience got to them and they just couldn't. It's like you got a secret that you just got to unleash. And once I unleash this secret, even though nobody knows I put it on the internet, I know I put it on the internet.
Right.
So I'm comfortable now in my skin because I feel like I did something. And I think that's what happened, because if they would have never put out the videos, nobody would have ever known they had a fight. Because how would you have known? They just went home and said she died from alcohol poisoning. And that was that. And then, you know, it was a lot. It was a whole lot. Shout out to her family. I hope you guys get peace and resolution.
Yeah, my heart goes out to her family. It's
and
sad.
what happened is very sad. But you got to stay on the authorities and make them, you know, do what they need to do, because this is just like the other case where the girl ended up in a freezer and nobody knows how she ended up in a freezer. Her name started with a K. I can't think of her name. Same thing. She went to the hotel with her friends and she disappears, and then you see videos of her walking through the hotel by herself and ending up going in the kitchen, ending up in the freezer, which is something else I don't believe. Kanika, I think that was her name, Kanika, or
I'm not sure.
Something like that. And it's just, you know,
it's just sad.
It's really sad, and I feel bad for them. But before we end the show, I want to talk about really quickly, the Meg Thee Stallion
on Tory Lanez.
And Tory Lanez.
Okay, well, yeah, we did get a verdict. We got a verdict, and Tory Lanez was actually found guilty on all counts. It's been a very bittersweet taste in the mouths of us in the culture and in hip hop. A lot of people are saying that Meg Thee Stallion, her career is over as a result of this verdict. You know, a lot of people have placed blame exclusively on her, when in reality, she was the one that got shot, you know?
Right.
She was the one that tried to cover up the whole, you know...
to save him.
The whole thing in order to save him as a black man, because she didn't want to see another black man in jail. But it came out, and unfortunately, she was caught up in the middle of it for 2 years. People thought that she was lying about the whole situation. They thought that she was lying about him shooting her, you know. And even in this particular court case, the prosecution, the defense tried to prove that not Tory shot Megan, but that Kelsey actually shot her. You know, that never came to pass. That couldn't hold water. Right. It ended up him being convicted of this violent crime. Now, as a person, what do I think should happen next? I think that justice should be served, whatever justice may be. Now, do I think this man should spend the next 20 years in jail? If I were to call him a jerk, I would say yes. Yeah, let him spend the next 20 years in jail, because Tory Lanez is a big jerk. He's a big jerk. But at the same time, I get where he's coming from. He's a man that has anger issues. He doesn't know how
I
to deal with
mean,
his
but
anger
20
well.
years, I think 5 years, 6 years is good enough.
Yeah, I
20
think.
years, because they always just trying to give black men the maximum of
Do you think
everything
that he
and
should
anything.
be? You think he should be extradited back to his home?
Or that too, where he was born and
Should he not
raised.
be allowed in the United States ever again?
Probably they can do that too, because
I
that
mean,
would
they
be
did it to Slick
punishment.
Rick.
Right, that would be punishment, and leave him with his money here.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know, like, if you go to certain countries, you can't leave. If you have a lot of money there, you can't leave the country with the money because it'll kind of bankrupt them a little bit. So I would say if they gave him just a small amount of money to leave with, so that he could live, I guess, comfortably, if you want to say comfortably, in the country, then that's fine.
Have you ever heard any of his music?
I probably haven't. Don't know what the hell it was.
Yeah, I don't know what it is either.
I probably haven't. Don't know what the hell it was, to be honest with you.
I know he made that whole album and based it on the actual events that happened.
I don't listen to this new wave music. It's
Yeah,
just
me neither.
some songs that'll catch me, and I'm like, oh, okay, that's cute, and keep it moving from there. But I love old R&B, 90s R&B, 80s R&B, 70s R&B. This new stuff, it's like it's all the same to me, so I don't even, like I said, a few songs will catch my ear, but on the average, I don't listen to stuff like that.
Now, I know he's supposed to be sentenced in June of this year. What his sentence will be, he faces up to 20 years in prison. But he's supposed to be sentenced in June. As I stated, whatever justice he gets is what he gets. Yeah, I mean,
it is what it is. 2022 was a roller coaster ride.
It was.
Hopefully 2023 will be better. And on that note, y'all, thank you for joining us for another Coffee with the Kingz.
Thank you so much. Yes.
And remember, we come on every morning at 11:30, between 11:30 and 11:45, and every weeknight for Pillow Talk between 10:30 and 10:45.
Yes.
So make sure you join us tonight for Pillow Talk. We will be on and we will be live for Pillow Talk, as always. Make sure that if you haven't hit that subscribe button yet, you hit that subscribe button and you activate that notification bell so you know every time we drop a new video. And if you want to become a lord or a knight or a lady at our round table, hit that join button. If you don't see it, the link is in the description box. Also, our Teespring account is linked to our YouTube page now, so you should see a link to the McRaeKingz boutique. If you don't, that link is in the description box as well.
Yes.
And if you want to help support the McRaeKingz platform, our Cash App should roll across the screen in a minute.
Yes.
And if you don't see it roll across your screen, then you should also see it in the description box as well. Any money you give the McRaeKingz, we always throw back into our platform so we can bring you a bigger and better show than we brought the last times. And with that being said, guys, you know how we end every show. If nobody told you they loved you or tells you they love you today, know that Tremel and I do. Enjoy your Tuesday morning, afternoon, and evening, and we will see you tonight for Pillow Talk at 10:30. With that being said, always walk in love, peace, sunshine, and happiness, all those great and wonderful things, and always remember,
it's Team McRae.
all damn day.
Talk to you guys
See
soon.
you tonight, y'all.
Bye-bye.
Later.